Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I will be doing another episode recap for today's Days of Our Lives, September 4th, 2024. So we see Leo is in the square. He's going over some script for Body and Soul, and Chad comes over. So he's like, catching up with him. He's like, I thought for somebody who just, got back their wife would look a lot happier. So Chad sits down and tells him, what's going on. He's saying even though that Abigail is back, they feel like distant strangers, and, she has this new face. So it's a lot awkward. So, at some point, the conversation went on to, she not remembering a lot of things. The only thing she remembered is when Clyde murdered her and all of that. So it's not much to go off of. So then it gets to the point where, Leo talks about this ceremony for Everett, and, Stephanie was actually planning it out. And, it's not going to be that big because he really didn't know much people, apart from, his co-workers, Stephanie and Connie. So Chad is like, who's Connie? So he's like, see, that's somebody that, is a friend of Everett's and all that. So anyways, he said he happened to know about it because he went over to visit Stephanie, and Stephanie had the urn with his ashes and all that. So he also tells Chad that he's busy with Body and Soul now, so he really can't commit to being at Lady Whistleblower at the Spectator anymore. So he said he probably might write guest columns, and he can't really do much because this is going to be a big role for him and all that. So Chad understands, and it was a good talk between the two of them, and he just wishes Chad the best with Abigail, that he and the kids are happy and all that. He was gonna use her situation as one of the storylines for Body and Soul, but Chad was like, nah, I really don't want this to be out like that, right? So we go back to Abigail, right? Well, fake Abigail. So she's on the phone with Dr. Green talking about, the next phase of their plan is on the way. And that's when Stephanie comes in, and she had to hang up the phone yet again, So she's like, Abigail, I'm Stephanie and all that. She's like, nice to meet you again. I really don't remember you. But anyways, Stephanie's like, sounds like a pretty urgent call. Something was important. You were talking about a plan. So she made up a story about, talking with Dr. Johnson, that's, Kayla, about this treatment plan. So she's like, she's pretty excited about it and all that. She's a great person, great doctor. So she's like, yeah, that's my mom. So anyway, she begins to talk about Abigail's history back in the day, and that she and Abigail were close. And then Abigail was like, I think we're forgetting the part where, you was with my husband while I quote unquote died, and you moved in with my children. So she's like, yeah, for what it's worth, we weren't gonna really last because he still was not over you, and he still had feelings about you, still loyal to you. So it just never was gonna go nowhere. And she was like, that's okay, I wasn't here, so I just wanted him to be happy and all that. So it's no big deal. So anyways, she begins to talk about their history back in the day. She doesn't remember. Of course, we know it's not the real Abigail. So anyways, she just, was trying to jog her memory with, throwbacks. And that was that with them, right? So that she did say, we should catch up sometime, have dinner. You could always move in with me. And she's like, nah, I'm good here. So we see Steve and Kayla, right? So it seems to be some plumbing accident at Stephanie's house, but they're over there trying to fix it. So after that was done, they started talking about Abigail, and, Kayla said she spoke with Jennifer, and Jennifer still can't come to terms that that's her daughter, and it's really hard for her to accept her, right? She's just afraid to lose her again, so it's really hard on her. So, Steve is just happy that he has his children and he has his family, just praying for Jack and Jennifer and everything they're going through with Abigail. So he did ask her if, with the memories come back. So she's like, there's no telling, but she's hoping that maybe she can set up something with Marlena for her to help her with her memories. So Steve also mentioned that, DNA tests do lie at that hospital, which, yes, Steve, you're very right about that. So she's like, yes, you may be right, but I handled it. And, the only other person that was involved was Dr. Green, and I trust him wholeheartedly. So Steve just had this face like, he's really skeptical about it. Being the investigator that he is, he's very skeptical. So Stephanie did end up coming back, and she's, grateful that, they solved this whole plumbing thing. Some garbage disposal was the issue. So Stephanie said she was just coming from Abigail. She was trying to jog her memories and all that, and invited her over for dinner because, Kayla was mentioning that they should, schedule a family dinner and all that, right? So she was like, I hope this treatment plan works for Abigail that you was talking about. So Kayla's confused, like, I didn't speak to Abigail today, I didn't talk to her whole day. So, Kayla's confused. Stephanie's like, that's weird and all that. So Steve is just like, he has a skeptical look on his face, like something don't add up. So we go over to Dr. Green at the hospital, and Aaron is back from lacrosse camp. And of course, Dr. Green is still upset with him that he, lied about going to lacrosse camp for himself, actually going on somebody else's tuition, right? So he's like, I did it for Tate because Tate wanted to spend time with Holly. And, this would really be beneficial for me because I could use this to get a college scholarship and all that. So Dr. Green was like, so what if Tate's father decides to, ask for reimbursement? How will we pay him? So he's like, yeah, he's rich, he's not gonna miss that. And he's like, you know what, maybe you're right, I have to find a way to pay you back, and I'm sorry for this, right? So he's like, I understand, you're a good kid, and it is what it is. So he's like, didn't you ever do something bad, when you were younger? So he said, oh, you don't really want to know. So he's like, tell me about it. What could you have possibly done? Because in his eyes, his brother is, without, he's unscrupulous. Well, let me not say unscrupulous. He's without flaws. He's perfect and all that. So he's like, you wouldn't really want to know. So anyways, he's saying besides Brady's kind of tied up. He's in jail, for what he did to Sarah. And he's like, I can't believe Tate's father did this. Poor Tate. And, Dr. Green's like, poor Sarah. She is my friend and colleague. Like, she may not walk again. She's a mom. She just got married. So it's a lot. So he's like, and you probably are triggered also because of what happened to our parents, right? With the car accident. So he's like, yeah. So, he did end up, doing something for school physical, and, he's like, Dr. Green is like, whatever, yeah, right? Because I think he asked him to sign off on some physicals, and he's like, no, you need to go set up an appointment with one of my colleagues. And, he's like, yeah, it's probably unethical and, probably, illegal, to do sign off a medical, right? So it's like, probably wouldn't be the right thing to do. So he's, Dr. Gray started looking because he did something real unethical recently. So anyways, back to Stefan, Gabby, and EJ, right? So Stefan is angry. He's like, how could, you guys are in the room, like, why would you be here? So at first he did not pick up exactly that they were sleeping together, but then somehow I think EJ used his foot and pushed Gabby's piece of clothing under the bed, and he saw it. So he's like, what is your clothes doing there? So he started shouting like, what your clothes doing down there? Did you sleep with my brother? And she's like, yes, I did. She did it with a straight face, like, yes, I did. So he's like, this is like tit for tat, like, why would you do this? So she's like, obviously to get back at you and what you did with Ava. So, he went over to EJ and he did the slowest punch ever, like, punched his face. I'm like, this was so slow and just anticlimactic. But anyways, he punched him. And, EJ went out to get some ice. I think that was when Stephanie and Abigail was chatting. And he's like, don't mind me, I'm just getting my ice. And she's like, I wonder who punched him in his face. So Stephanie's like, whatever happened, he deserved it. And she begins to tell Abigail about what EJ did to her back in the day. Again, these people don't let go past transgressions. But anyways. So at first, before Stefan punched EJ, he did think that, it was EJ's doing to take advantage of his wife. But she said, no, I seduced him and all that. It was all me. So when it was just the two of them talking, so he's like, what I did was the stupidest mistake, right? I did a drunken mistake, but for you to sleep with my brother, that was calculated, that was cold, like, you really didn't care. And, he said he was at her door begging and pleading and, just to know that she was in EJ's bed, right? So she's like, listen, like I got up and, after, what I did with EJ, I really regretted doing it. I felt bad. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be so hard on Stephen, but like, you know what? Like, you did this first, and like you did this with Ava, and I couldn't do that where I just kept lying to you, right? I just went out with it. I didn't want to have the guilt and stuff. So she said it is what it is. And at some point EJ was coming in, nursing his jaw. And she was like, and for the record, your brother is way better in bed than you. So that really stung Stefan, and EJ's over there smirking. So he's like, you know what? I am done here. So she's like, you know what? You're not going to fight for us and all that. So no, it's nothing worth fighting for. So he just, stormed, looked at EJ and just stormed out, right? So EJ was about to comfort Gabby and was like, you are right. So she's like, don't touch me. So she started crying and everything. She knew that she really didn't want to do this. But look, two wrongs never make a right. It's either you guys are separate. Don't do the tit for tat, because it's going to hurt you even more than the actual cheating that happened, right? So we see Dr. Green and fake Abigail, because she got a text from him about meeting at the square again, when she got the chance. So she told Stephanie that she had to wrap it up and go handle something, right? So she meet up with him and she is like, I'm sorry about that. Abigail's cousin came in and started telling me about some beautiful memories back in the day, which I don't know, I really, don't really care about. But, this is becoming too hard with Chad's family, Abigail's family coming in on me. And it's just getting too much. She can't deal with it. So she started to hug him and all that. And, he's like, we just got to focus on the plan. So we find out that they're actually brother and sister. I really thought they were girlfriend and boyfriend, but they're brother and sister. But we still don't know what exactly the plan is, and like, what it has to do with Abigail, the Demaras. I don't know like what's going on. But anyways, I guess we'll see the link at some point. So that is it, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for the support thus far. I will see you tomorrow for an all new recap. Bye.